I'd like to point towards Don Foster. Just like a theoretical situation, say in the referendum on May 5th, there is a low turnout, such as the Royal referendum, so exactly like 35%, and the result is a marginal win, say 51, 52%. If the coalition dominated, the Conservative dominated coalition, does not decide to implement AV due to the lack of legitimacy perceived from this referendum, is that the end of the coalition?
Okay, thank you. I'm going to pass this to Megan to answer the point about value for money.
Okay, on the idea about value for money. Well, firstly, I think that having a better and more democratic and fairer system is value for money, but it isn't even going to cost particularly much money. I think there's been a lot of figures banded around by the No campaign which just don't stand up to scrutiny. There's the cost of the referendum itself, which is going to cost the same whether it's a yes or no answer. Then there's the idea that we might have electronic counting machines, which is something that has never been substantiated, but aren't used in Australia and haven't been used for decades. So there's no reason why we would spend money on counting machines. And then there's general money on the implementation of it, which is based on single transferable votes, which is a lot harder to implement in general. So it's not actually going to cost us a lot of money, or even any more money than first past the post is going to cost us. So therefore, I think, considering that it's not going to be across the country, and that the Treasury has stated that it is absolutely not going to make any cuts based on implementing AV, I think it's something that we should, if that's your only problem with it, then you should wholeheartedly support it.
Okay, thank you, Megan. Jacob, do you want to respond?
The money point's a brilliant one. It's £80 million for the referendum, which the first past the post people weren't arguing for. That's the cost to the pro-AV camp. That's £80 million for starters, let alone the extra cost of counting a much more complex system. The gentleman there asked about what happens with the referendum result. I kept on voting for a threshold, so that if it didn't get more than 40%, the referendum wouldn't go through on the nod. In the first vote, I was with 30 other MPs against 520 who didn't want any threshold. The Labour Party then saw modest political advantage in it and switched sides. So next time, there were about 250 of us, which was rather more encouraging. But if only one person voted, and that one person voted for AV, it would then be the law within the time it takes for the Deputy Prime Minister to issue the necessary documentation. And then, gentlemen back.
Can I ask you how you would you vote for it if it passed like a 50.1% majority? Would you?
I'm afraid to say the law is written so that if it passes by one vote on a 3% turnout, it is the law. That's it. There's no coming back to Parliament. And I don't actually mind that much. I think it's silly not to have a threshold. But you're the boss. You decide the voting system and how we're there. I'm all in favour of democracy. Gentlemen back, 1951, 1974, that both of us can quote quirks in the electoral system. And you can do that with AV, and you can do it with first past the post. The question is, which has the fewest quirks and is overall the fairest? And that's why I consistently come down with first past the post. Because AV gives you more quirks, gives more votes to people who've already had a vote, so I've been saying, and allows the person to come third to win, which doesn't seem to me to be fundamentally fair. But I like the quirks, I think they're very interesting, but they're not really the substance of the debate.
Okay, thank you. Don, do you want to come back on the point of will the coalition survive if it's a no vote, which was sort of raised in the last question?
Staggering way to end the meeting, but I entirely agree with almost everything Jacob Rees-Mogg has just said. He's absolutely right to say we can bandy quirks here and there till the cows come home. He's absolutely right to say that the law is now written, so it doesn't matter in a sense what the outcome is. And he's absolutely right to say that what people now have to do is for you to decide, not for us, the politicians, to decide where he got it wrong, was his conclusion that the fairest system is to stick with the outdated, ineffective, first past the post system, and the fairest system would be to vote for AV.
Okay, thank you. Now this is really time constraints. Has anyone got any points which really haven't been addressed and I really feel it needs to be addressed? at this time.
Yes, there seems to be...
Sorry, I'm going to take this gentleman first.
Very brave to see two Conservatives against AV, because the Conservative Party uses AV for its leadership elections. And I guess the reason for this is to take the gambling out of tactical voting, which is probably the main reason for voting yes. In the next election in Mr. Rees-Mogg's constituency, there might be a choice between Tory, Liberal Democrat and Labour. They might all be expected to attract a fair number of votes. Suppose, unlikely, I feel the coalition has done a good job. I'd like it to continue. But really, I'd rather vote Liberal Democrat. Do I risk voting Liberal Democrat and let Labour in? Or do I compromise my principles and vote for Jacob? Very difficult dilemma. But that is not unusual. Tactical voting is what intelligent people always do.
I think we've got tactical voting. I'm going to take some more questions, and then I'm going to ask each speaker to give a 30-second summary, which hopefully they may be able to address any of the questions. Please, for this time, only ask questions if the issue really hasn't been addressed. I'm not going to take it because you had a question, to be up to fairness. I'll take a man right at the back with his hand up.
There's a lot been said about how people can become second and still win. What happens under AD is that if somebody gets the most best practices but still doesn't win, the reason is because the voters prefer the person who actually won. That's facts.
Okay, thank you. I'll take the gentleman with the glasses on.
A lot of motorway AV material I've seen overcomplicates the AV system. Why not explain in an easy to understand way, such as the BBC and the Yes Fair Vote app? The Yes Fair Vote explained in one page very simply, and then allow, you can put arguments against it then, and allow people to make their own minds up.
Okay, thank you. Lady at the front here. Right.
Is it not true that the Conservatives are only on the No campaign because they stand to lose the most from AV?
There's a gentleman here on the left and a gentleman on the right, and that would be it. Check it.
As someone who supports further reform towards proportional representation, how should I vote in a referendum?
Okay, and finally, with the back and front. Hand up.
The Yes campaign talked of majority voting producing 50% of the vote, but surely you want to vote for your favourite candidate, and surely that produces an artificial majority based on extra presence. Surely that's not really a majority.
Okay, thank you. I'm now going to ask each of the candidates some of their points. I'm going to say what I started with. I'm just going to
You're doing very well before.
I know, I was trying to follow the clock 30 seconds.
You were 4 seconds before.
Okay, so I'll start with Megan. If you could summarise why you should vote yes campaign in 30 seconds and potentially try and bring in some of those points, that would be brilliant. Thank you.
Okay, I think the alternative vote is more representative. It gives people a chance to have their say. It means that if they have a first preference, they can vote for their first preference. And if they have somebody who they prefer second, they can put that second. But they don't have to keep voting for people they don't want. They can just vote as far as they want for the people that they want, which means that they're happy with the ultimate outcome. If you like PR, if you like STV, if you like other systems, then voting yes to AV shows that you want change. It shows that you believe the system that we have isn't right. If you vote no to AV, then you're saying that first past the post is right for you.
Dawn, I'm hand over to you.
Thank you. Well, as I said at the beginning, I believe that first past the post is fast, clear, transparent, fair, easy, accountable, and it's more democratic. The vested interests in the Yes campaign